any decision regarding the assistant manager's position.
It's between Stu and yourself.
Stu Rubin, the new guy?
Stu's someone who's not afraid to make the tough decisions.
I'm perfectly capable of making the tough decisions.
I'll let you know as soon as I decide, okay?
Will you help me? Please.
Okay. We have an elderly woman asking for an extension on her mortgage payment. We would have to throw her out.
Drag Me to Hell, Sam Raimi's return to horror. And this came out in 2009. And now it's 2023. Please come back to horror, Sam Raimi. Please do it. I mean, I know Doctor Strange was somewhat a horror movie, but still, man. Anyway, so Drag Me to Hell. So this movie apparently was in the works for a long time, and it just kept getting, like, pushed aside, and then eventually they were able to do it. So this movie is about a bank accountant who, you know, has a great life going for her. She is dating somebody, and she's trying to get a promotion to, I think it was assistant manager at the bank. So to impress her boss, she is given a situation where an elderly woman comes in and asks for an extension on her mortgage, even though they had already given her like extensions already. So to impress her boss, she denies the extension. She finds out that the woman was actually a gypsy, and she has been cursed by something called, I think it was Lamia. And that curse means that a demon will torture you for 3 days, and then after that, you will be dragged to hell for eternity. So she needs to find a way to stop the curse and prevent, you know, her from being in hell for the rest of her life. This film, when I heard about this movie way later. Like, I'd watched out of Sam Raimi's, I watched it was, I know Army of Darkness for sure, but I watched his Spider-Man movies, but this was kind of a blind spot. And I remember that my dad had like a little miniature poster of this. And I would just sit and just kind of look at that poster and go like, huh, what is this movie? To then, when I got a little bit older and I started doing like research on movies that I would watch, and found out that it was Sam Raimi, I went like, oh, now I need to watch it. And watched it, and I was like, oh, it's PG-13. Whatever, it should be fine. This movie gets kind of like, I'm surprised this movie got a PG-13 rating. Because yeah, while even though it's PG-13, it's very Sam Raimi. It feels very Evil Dead, and like there's parts in the movie that are kind of freaky. There's stuff that's scary. There's stuff in here where it's just gross, where it's like, ugh, like that's just gross. But also there's stuff in the movie that they're doing, and that I'm just like, yeah, that's pure Evil Dead. That feels very Evil Dead. So I feel like they wanted this to kind of be like almost like a cousin of the Evil Dead movies, but I like how they take it in a different direction. There is no Necronomicon. It's something, it's way different, but yet like if you jump from Evil Dead to this, not thinking they're the same, you'd be like, okay, I think they're part of the same series, because it feels that way. But yeah, this is very much one of those movies where I was like, why is this PG-13? Because I'm like, that kind of is rated R. That's kind of rated R. So yeah, it's just some of the things they do in this. It's just gross. Like it's just um like let's just say I every time when I have a piece of cake, doesn't matter what cake it is, I have to just search it around. No, nothing particular. But yeah, I think the writing in this is very good. The acting as well, like especially from Alison Lohman, she really committed. She understood what her one not just what her character was, but what the film was, and that there were points that were going to be a bit funny and goofy, and like dark comedy, which is what Sam Raimi does. So like they committed, but also Justin Long in this. I mean, Justin Long, he's a great. He's one of those kind of I wouldn't say underground actors, but he's just one of those actors where when he pops up in something, no matter if it's good or bad, I just go like, you know what, he got it down. He really did. And even when he's given like the most like hateful characters, it's just like you knocked it out of the park, man. You did it. So yeah, the acting is very 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 good in this. Everybody understood exactly what the story and what the script was, and then Raimi stuff. Like I'm pretty sure they had to do their research and go like, okay, so it's gonna be like we're gonna show you this like scary and maybe horrific things, but we're also gonna throw like stuff in there that's like, okay, that's ridiculous, but it's funny, and that's very much Sam Raimi. That's one of the reasons why I love him. The film it feels kind of plotting at times, where you're kind of just like, all right, let's move on to the next thing. And it also has to deal with curses, so it's not totally new. But with this one, it takes the curse thing. It's just like, okay, but what if it wasn't like, not like The Ring, where it's kind of like an urban legend. This one, it's like, okay, it's there, and you can try to pass it to somebody else and be free from it. From like The Ring, no matter if you pass it on to somebody else, you're still infected by it. So it becomes a kind of race against the clock type movie. So it's like, I know how much time I have. We need to get this stuff done. I need to get it done now. And it's very very engaging. Like first time I watched this, I went, yeah, okay, I understand. It's very Sam Raimi, and yeah, and it's so fun. It's a fun movie, and this is one of those movies that I think kinda is under the radar, and I think is a bit underrated, especially not necessarily in Sam Raimi's catalog of stuff, but in like stuff of horror, because especially since this is his return to horror, when he didn't do another horror movie for I think like over a decade, and this was his return to it. It makes me go like, dude, please come back and do something, do another horror movie. I mean, Doctor Strange kind of counts, but that was just MCU going into a darker direction, which I wish they go back to, but that's besides the point. That's a completely different story. This is pure Raimi. If you watch the Evil Dead movies, you know exactly what you're going to get into in this. And it's so much fun. I Every time I see it, it's still entertaining to me. I find it just so much fun. From how much stuff they were able to get away with a PG-13 rating is crazy. And just how gross this movie is at times. Like, it's just like, so, like, you just feel like super, like, disgusted. And you can really only get that with Raimi. And because Raimi is just kind of like, okay, we're going to do this scene. And then starts going like, what if we did this? What if we did this? What if we threw this in here? And it's able to work super well. It just comes together super, super well. And that's what I think Raimi does spectacularly. So I think this film is great. It's a lot of fun. Every time I watch it, it's always entertaining, and yeah. So if you haven't seen this, absolutely watch it. A lot of fun.
Have I begged for anything but now? I humble myself
Mrs. Guinness,
before you.
please.
I beg you.
Please let go. Please let go. Security!